opposing counsel, and members of the jury. Every choice that the defendant made was all a part of her plan. This case was about two criminals. One criminal who escaped on August 30th, and another criminal, the defendant, who made that escape possible. This case wasn't about shortcuts. This case was about charging the person who made all of Cameron Poole's crimes possible. And that's why we're here today. Because each choice that she made, it was all a part of her plan. But it wasn't just enough for me to come up here and say that today. Because as the state in today's case, we had the burden of proof. It was our job to prove to you today beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant acted in complicity with her partner to commit 3 different crimes. We didn't have to prove this to you today beyond all doubt. Just a doubt based on reason, or a doubt based on common sense. Now, as the judge instructed you just a moment ago, we've charged the defendant with something called complicity. And the law says that to act in complicity, all you have to do is help someone or attempt to help them commit a crime. No matter how little or how much they try to help a person to commit a crime, the law says they have to be responsible for their choices. They have to be found guilty for what happens as a result. And the result of her choices was Officer Thomas losing his life. I want to start with the first charge in this case. It's called theft by deception. And all we had to show you for this charge is that the defendant helped her partner steal just $500 using the fake wristbands over the summer of 2012. Now think back to what we heard today. It was the defendant's partner in the ticket booth. He'd sell a $35 wristband for $20 and keep $15 for himself. And the park's owner took the stand today and he told you that after seeing that fake wristband, the park had lost thousands of dollars. So we've proven that element to you today beyond a reasonable doubt. So the question is, how do we know that it was the defendant who was involved in that plan? And it all goes back to what the defendant said herself. When the eyewitness was in that locker room, she saw the defendant and her partner rush in. They said, "We have been caught." Longstreet has asked about the wristbands. The same wristbands that on the stand today, she admitted to being her wristbands in Cameron Poole's because she knew about them and didn't say anything. You see, it was her plan to use those wristbands. She had worked in the ticket booth before. She knew exactly how that system worked. She got her partner to do that same job the very next year. They both knew how to take money from customers. Both knew how to pass out those wristbands. Both knew how to record those sales. And the fake wristband that was seen in the park, that was the proof that those two knew exactly how to get around the system. And when they were caught, the defendant, well, she gave her partner another plan. Because the eyewitness, Tyler Hartman, she was in that employee locker room, and she saw the defendant pull out a knife. She saw the defendant put that knife into Cameron Poole's locker, and she said, "You know where it is when you need it." And that knife, that's what takes us to August 30th and the next two charges of robbery in the first degree and of murder. To prove robbery, we had to show that the defendant's partner used that knife to rob the accountant at that ticket booth and then escape from the park on August 30th. And think back to the testimony of the park's owner. When he rushed down to the ticket booth on August 30th, the accountant said that's exactly what happened. Cameron Poole, the defendant's partner, had that knife. He robbed me, he demanded all of the money, and then he ran away. So the question is, what choices did she make to help her partner to get away with that crime? And we'll talk about that in a moment, but I first want to address this third charge of murder. Now, we're not saying that the defendant intended to kill Officer Thomas. But the law says that when a person dies as a result of a robbery, that's also called murder. And that's exactly what happened in this case. Because on August 30th, as the defendant's partner was fleeing from that robbery, he ran into the tunnel of terror, The lights go out. Officer Thomas is slammed into that ride, and he's killed. That allowed her partner to get away. So in the commission of that robbery, a man died. That's murder. She has to be held responsible for that. Now today we've talked about two very important places. We talked about the ticket booth and the Tunnel of Terror. Because on August 30th, the defendant, she was at the Tunnel of Terror for a reason. Her partner didn't just turn out and run the main entrance of the park. Instead, he ran through the park to a door that was supposed to be locked. We heard today the defendant, she had the key. And she used that key to let her partner in the park. And she helped him get out. Now, I want you to look at something. This is the control panel for the Tunnel of Terror. Take a look how simple it is. You press the green button to start it and the red button to stop it. Over and over again. Now we know the defendant, she worked that ride over the summer. Never made a mistake operating it. But just a few days before the robbery, she's caught experimenting with blackout mode. But then the defendant today, she took the stand and told you that on August 30th, she just made a mistake. She accidentally hit that lever and put the ride into blackout mode. But the person who was on that ride, she told you a different story. Because she told you that when she was on that ride, she heard a gunshot and then the ride started. And then the defendant waited. And she waited. And then she hit this lever. And then her partner escaped, and then she stopped the ride. Now, I waited just 10 seconds. She waited over a minute. She didn't make a mistake. After her partner got away, he sent her a text message that said, "I got out. Talk to you later. Thank you." Her partner thanked her for helping her to escape on August 30th. She wanted you to believe it was a mistake, but this is the same person who on August 30th, when questioned by police, told a lie because she didn't want to get caught. This is the same person who, when she found out that she was actually being charged with robbery and with murder, changed her story again. Members of the jury, all of the evidence points to the choices that she made and the plan that she